my head, but that's the way it goes. Twisting all upset when I don't play the role. Oh, I'm so misunderstood. I should just keep my big mouth closed, crawl back into bed, 'cause it's the safest place I know. Then to my surprise, you pulled me out alive. I thought I'd never make it out of that room, but gray is back to blue, the trees are greener too. I think I see it clearer next to you. I think I'm just better next to you.
sort of thing.
A vidi, ovdje to.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Muy bien robado. cerveza y jamón. Hello sir, you want to eat?
Hasta ahora ya, como el día dura menos, se está metiendo a las 7. Sí, hay mucho. A las 6:30. Sí.
Kanun öyle yazabilecek.
Who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You go try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. Hey, new phone, who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You go try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. Come see, come saw with the ratata. Yeah, life is good when you in your bag. Mix a little A with a na-na-na. Then come back again and double it up. Hey.
Yo no le pongo azúcar a mi café. Sugar in the ice latte? No.
the wood.
Gracias. Please do not obstruct the closing doors. Propera parar. Travessera de dalt, corrent de les Corts.
我不能看你，我睁不开眼。
什么那边的？
对。来，把你手机给我。
Тебе тут экспериментирую? Пожалуйста. You're going to pay fee to go to photography lessons. Si quieres te la hago yo.
Eso está bien, pero aparte por eso yo no tengo nada.
De todas formas, ahora cuando tenga vacaciones, yo cuando era pequeño iba con él.
Yeah, I got
Acho que eu tirar uma foto aí.